I'm Nancy Pfaff, a spiritual director who sits with people who want to go deeper in their spiritual lives. Tonight, I ask your patience because I'm working from an outline instead of a script. And also, there's been a lot of smoke in Reno due to the California fires, and I may need to pause and clear my throat every now and then. If you'd like to write to me, my email address is sacredquestreno@gmail.com. You can ask questions about spiritual direction, or if you'd like to ask me to pray for something or hold you in a healing field, do write me. Tonight, we're going back to our friend Rumi, a well-known Sufi master and poet. Jerome Waddle, my producer, the creator of My Dragon Theater Productions, is watching the chat, so do say hello. We love to know that you're there. And do subscribe if you haven't already. Just click the bell and you'll get notices when we go live or post something new. Because we are a non-sectarian interfaith audience, I'll be using different words for the divine, like source, essence, presence, the divine, God. They all point to that unconditional love that moves the planets and the stars and lives in your heart and mine. We call it agape. Lectio Divina can be understood as one of the greatest wisdom tools ever developed. We spend time with an open heart with inspired prose or poetry. It could be the scriptures. It helps engage the body, the mind, and the spirit. And for more information, you could watch our introduction to this series. I want to add just a couple of new things tonight. When you're in the silence between readings, you can ponder the meaning of the words, relate the reading to issues in your own life, pray or be with the feelings and thoughts that arise, or rest in the divine. As you continue to practice Lectio Divina, you can go deeper into your connection with Source, closer to becoming your true self. I think our deepest longing is for union with presence. Our reading tonight is a verse from Rumi's poem, The Visions of Daquqi. I'm calling it Becoming Stillness, Becoming Selfless in the Presence. If Rumi is new to you, his full name was Jalal Al-deen Mohammad Rumi, born in the 13th century. He's popularly known as Rumi. He was an Islamic Sufi master, a contemplative, or a mystic. Andrew Harvey, who has translated some of Rumi's verses, says this: for hundreds of thousands of people, Rumi's work, in its passion, honest, and gorgeous imagery, has become a way of connecting directly with the divine, beyond the constrictions of religion and dogma. He combined the intellect of a Plato, the vision and enlightened soul force of a Buddha or Christ, and the extravagant literary gifts of a Shakespeare. A spiritual master to me, whether a he or a she, whatever gendered, they have been all the way and found that union with Source, the oneness that is at the heart of all things, their true self. They know the signs of stages of growth to help their disciples, their followers, their students. And as the students encounter difficulties, which they will on the way, the teacher can help them, a spiritual master can help them to know how to negotiate these rough passages. Sufism is a centuries-old current which itself opens out onto divinity. Rumi found a way to the narrow gate in the depth of the soul, a domain of the pure and unimprisonable spirit, which itself opens out onto the divinity. As we get ready for the readings, it's important to have a ritual and an intention. You can do your ritual now. It should shift our attention from what we've been doing to a new focus within. It should be something meaningful, something simple. Tonight, I'm going to use a gesture namaste. The divine in me sees the divine in you. A ritual helps to unite consciousness with the unconscious. Do your intention now. Do it around what you want tonight. Do you want more self-knowledge? More awareness of presence? To gain more peace? Guidance to make a difficult decision? To sense a deeper connection to Source? There will be 3 readings tonight with a minute of silence between each reading. The 3rd reading will be a pre-recorded reading by my producer, Jerome Waddle. Following the 3rd reading, I will say, continue to be with your experience, and you'll have some more silence to rest in the divine. To open the heart, we can open the body through deep breathing. So right now, let's take 2 long, slow, deep breaths. Let's enter that place like no other place, a time like no other time. You may want to soften or close your eyes. Bring to mind a sizable old tree. Really notice this tree. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Is there a taste in your mouth? What does the trunk feel like? Here is a sacred place to lay down your cares and concerns. Lay them down now. Feeling lighter and more open, listen to the readings. Becoming selfless in the presence. Through companionship with the ground, a grapevine grows. It opens into the earth's darkness and flies. It becomes selfless in the presence of its origin and learns what it really is, and learns what it really is. Through companionship with the ground, a grapevine grows. It opens into the earth's darkness and flies. It becomes selfless in the presence of its origin and learns what it really is, and learns what it really is.
Through companionship with the ground, a grapevine grows. It opens into the earth's darkness and flies. It becomes selfless in the presence of its origin and learns what it really is, and learns what it really is.
Continue to be present to your experience. As we return to ordinary time, look around you and let your eyes be caught by some object and gaze on it for a moment. Rub your hands together, get some friction, clap a little. What stood out to you tonight? What spoke to your heart, your mind, your body? To expand on your experience, you could write this verse out yourself. Say it out loud slowly a few times. Look up any word that caught your attention. If an image came to mind, sketch, draw it, look up another image like it in Google. Print out the image and spend time with it with your open heart. Paint, sing, dance, have fun. Do something creative. Give your experience form. Now, let me tell you a story about my recent experience with Lectio Divina. I've had some new spiritual experiences that have really shifted my consciousness. It's like my landscape within is totally unknown. I know no one, and I don't recognize any landmarks. And this has left me feeling lonely because there's no one here in my local area I know of to talk to. During this time, I picked up the book, Such Stuff as Dreams Are Made Of, by Helen Luke. Helen Luke devoted her life to the exploration of the deep center she called the self with a capital S. She was a Jungian analyst and trained by C.G. Jung himself. She was endowed with a deep grasp of archetypal forces and had the ability to evoke them with luminous prose. As I read her journal entries, I began to be affected by what I read. I knew I was being arrested by the divine because my attention became very focused. I know from experience that I need to pay attention because there's encouragement, challenge, correction, direction, many things that can be coming my way that are gifts. There were two passages in particular that stood out. The first passage came while I was asking the question, what is a new way, a new spiritual practice to stay in the present moment? And so I'm reading her journal and I come across these words. Quote, the greeting, I see you. If one could use it, not only for every person, but to everything one meets. This was Jung's greeting to his pots and pans in his Bollingen kitchen. Every smallest thing seen, and therefore oneself also fully seen. After reading that, I practiced that until breakfast, and I began to enter into a unified field where there was no separation. It was a wonderful encounter. The second passage came to speak to me about the loneliness I was in. I felt like if I only knew someone who'd had an experience similar, that I would be encouraged. So this was the second journal entry of Helen's that I read. Quote, there came another experience, a hint of what it actually means to know, not just with the head or intuitively, when the center of one's being moves from the ego to the self, the momentary release from hidden angst, that is fear, anxiety, or dread, that obscures and cuts off the ego from the serenity, the deep peace that lies below and above and all around and through it, even including the angst itself in its totality. Even that, a vessel of meaning in the glory of conflict accepted. And this is what I was learning as I moved into feeling deeply all my feelings, even the painful ones, learning that going deeply into the feeling brings me out on the other side into agape, into that unconditional love in which we live and move and have our being. To bring these experiences into the outer world, to give them form, I wrote them in my journal. I read them out loud, and then I sat with them and pondered them as I held my own experience and let them validate what was happening to me. I was comforted, reassured, and strengthened, and it decreased my resistance to the new me I am becoming. Feel free to email me at sacredquestreno@gmail.com. Let me know if I can pray for you, hold you in a healing field. Feel free to ask questions about spiritual direction or make a comment. You can leave a comment here. I'd love you to subscribe so you can receive notices when we go live or put something new up. For Jerome Waddle's readings, just type Jerome Waddle in the YouTube search bar. Thank you for joining me tonight. May the love that passes all understanding keep you in peace.